Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here coming at you with another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at Dungeons & Dragons R.A. Salvatore's The Legend of Drizzt, Drizzt Do'Urden, from his books. This was made by Hasbro. This is plastic-free packaging, so it just has a painting and a little picture of what the figure and the stuff inside. We'll take a look at the back here, and we have a nice picture of the figure along with his accessories. There's no real write-up. Here's a nice picture of Drizzt on the side here. And yeah, Drizzt was definitely one of my favorite characters. I was not a big follower of the tabletop role-playing game of Dungeons & Dragons, but I did absorb some of the outside stuff, the movies, the TV show, some of the comic books, and I did read the trilogy, the first trilogy. I didn't read, apparently there's like almost 40 books about Drizzt, but I only read the first trilogy. And he was a really cool character. I really enjoyed him. And it was also nice to see him in some of the Dungeons & Dragons video games that came out over time. Yeah, so without further ado, let's open this up and see what we got inside. All right, so here he is, Drizzt Do'Urden, along with his two scimitar swords. I believe this one is called Twinkle, and this one's called Icingdeath. He also comes with the crystal shard from the book. I know the crystal shard had another name. I can't remember it offhand, but here it is, the crystal shard. And he does come with a little icing effect for Icingdeath, to show when he activates the magic of it. And there he is, Drizzt Do'Urden. All right, I do want to say I do like the design of this character. I think it's very faithful to his description from the book, and I think Hasbro did do a nice job with the details. As you can see, they even painted the handles here on the swords. You know, unfortunately, the swords are not like, you know, sharp like real swords, but that's fine. It is not a big deal. Look at the pummel of Icingdeath. It's got a little wolf face on there. Really cool. Not a lot of nice detail. They put the little red eye in there. And in his armor, he's got all these rivets in there. Really good stuff. The cape is just hard plastic. It's just a green hard plastic with some white paint on it. They didn't really do any wash, but it does have some nice texturing. And it just slides right on and right off without any issues. But let's take a look at him without the cape on. And as you can see, they did a lot of nice job on this armor. Look, even on the small rivets, they did little paint jobs. Really nice. He's got some paint on the dots here. His articulation is a little limited. It's not the best, but it's okay. You know, it's not like I'm gonna do him in a lot of crazy poses. His legs are really kind of hindered by this waist. Oh, actually, no, look at that. It does open up nicely. I didn't see the slit here. So, oh, okay, that's nice. I didn't see that at first. Okay, so he can do nice splits, double jointed knees. He does have thigh rotation. So really good. Let's take a look at the paint job on his face. That's really good. That's exactly the way he looked in all the video games that I've seen him in. I do remember that there was a I believe there was a PlayStation 2 game that allowed you to play him in one of the, it was like a Dungeons and Dragons action game. But he was mostly dressed in black in that one. So I do like that they went with the colors that he's mostly shown in a lot of the artwork that they do with him. Yeah, it's a really good figure. For the most part, I feel really positive about this figure. But I do have some qualms about this. His swords, when you go to put them into their sheath, they will fit, but they kind of rub up against his waist, and his arms are kind of in the way. So I don't know, they didn't really do the best job as far as the placement, because you can see it's bending. I don't really like that, so I'm not going to leave the sword in their sheath. I'm just going to leave them in his hands. Look, oh, look at that nice little blue gem in the back. I didn't see that. So yeah, so I'm actually going to just leave the swords in his hands because I don't want the swords bending. And that's really kind of, kind of bums me out a little bit that, this wasn't placed better, or like maybe angled it out a little bit more, so that the swords don't bend, but they do. So yeah, I'm not gonna put the sheath on them. And then I do have another complaint about this. I didn't realize that this was a Hasbro figure. And I make that comment to say this. I want to show you next to the other Dungeons and Dragons figures that I got that were from NECA Toys, and this is where you're going to see the big crazy difference. All right, so here we have Dungeons and Dragons Strongheart, Dungeons and Dragons Warduke. These are both by NECA Toys. And as you can see, I was hoping to put Drizzt with them, but take a look. Look at the quality of this compared to these two figures. Now, it's a different company, fine. But why am I comparing the quality of this figure by Hasbro to these two by NECA Toys? Do you know why I'm comparing them? Because this figure is the same price as these. And like, I don't understand how Hasbro justifies their pricing. So this is where I'm going to get into a little bit of a tangent. Again, overall, I do really like the figure. I think he looks great. Now, I was actually lucky, and I did get this figure at a GameStop it was on clearance. So I got it for like 11 bucks. So I'm happy with that. But this figure, normally this figure goes for around $32 to $35. This is a $35 figure. This is a $35 figure. This is not a $35 figure. Are you kidding me right now? I'm glad I got it for 11 bucks. I was really happy about it. But originally I did think it was a NECA because the box was a similar design and it was Dungeons and Dragons. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. I'm going to have another NECA Dungeons and Dragons figure of another legendary Dungeons and Dragons character. Now, again, I am happy to have him. I'm glad I found him on clearance, because if I would have saw this at the GameStop for $35, $36, there's no way I would not have purchased him. Yeah, this was really shocking to me. I stood there, and when I took him out the box and I saw the way he looked, and I was like, oh, he's not gonna look good with my Dungeons and Dragons figures. I mean, look at the cape versus look at this. It's a soft goods wired cape. Look at they did okay paint job on this for, like a big retail type figure. But look at you're not going to tell me, like, look at this paint job, look at this paint job, look at this paint job. And he's anywhere near where these two figures are. You know, I do understand that Hasbro, you know, is a big retail line. I understand that fact. And NECA is more specialized, but come on. You cannot, you know, it's like McFarlane wanting $40 for, you know, a basic Superman body with nothing really there. Like, if you're going to charge, you know, $35 for a figure, I don't have a problem if you're going to do that, but at least make it worth $35. Like, this and this are not even playing the same game. You know, one is playing football, the other one's playing baseball. You're not even in the same field. So, you know, I'm glad to have him. He's you know, he is a big part of Dungeons and Dragons lore. He's a very major, important character. But yeah, I'm gonna have to place him somewhere else because he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit with my Dungeons and Dragons heroes, which is, you know, really, really disappointing. You know, I'm sure, you know, you can customize them and put some paint washes on them to make them look a little better. But, you know, for $35, $36, like, this is what I'm expecting for $35, $36 now. Not this. I mean, even McFarlane, like, movie figures, you know, like, they put more paint washes on those, which they barely have any. You know, compared to, you know, what Hasbro did here. So that's my little rant. This is Drizzt do Urden. I am glad to have him. He is a Dungeons and Dragons hero, a legend. But yeah, I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to put him because there's no way. He sticks out like a sore thumb compared to these two guys. So well, in any case, if you enjoyed this look at Drizzt, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Who knows what we'll have next? Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.